Hello. And testing. Hopefully you can hear me. We're going to start in a few seconds at the top of the hour where we are now. So hello, it's time to start. So my name is Eric Rozenberg. I'm a new mentor in AO, and I want to thank Sean Sean Thomas for inviting me, and Joel Gandara, as well as Dan Abate, to get me in touch with Sean. I'm very excited to be one of the mentor and to help people. A few words about me, as it is the first time that we are together in this mentor session. The accent is from Belgium, but I live in South Florida, and I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I've went through the roller coaster of owning companies, developing companies, partnership, great partnership, less great partnership. I'm currently CEO of CQTix, which is a SaaS company here in the US. I've opened the Americas for the company. It's a SaaS company originally from Switzerland, which is providing ticketing for venues. And I also have an even business formula, which is helping people in the meetings and event industry, where I spent 20 years in my life. I have a podcast called The Business of Meetings. What else can I tell you? That I've been running projects in more than 50 countries the last 20 years. I love helping people, and most importantly, I am the happy husband of an amazing wife and the father of 3 amazing daughters. So enough about me, and I see that Sean, you're here. Good, so everything's working. And there's a lot of questions for today, so we're gonna get into it immediately. The first question that I have here is from Heather Brockman is, which is better for onboarding training, a private YouTube channel or a trainual, I guess training manual? And the background for Heather's business, and she is in the process of redoing her onboarding and want to add training videos for all aspects of the standard operating processing. I didn't know if a private YouTube channel would be better or something more detailed, such as a trainual would be better suited for a company wanted to get to a franchise level. Great question, Heather. And before I answer it, it's like the question when you ask chicken or beef, and the answer is yes. So YouTube channel or training manual, the answer is yes. And it depends what you want to be doing and how you're going to use that. So franchise level, as you are looking at developing your business and to franchise it, I would say 2 things first before answering the YouTube or training manual. First of all, visualize your business. Try to see how your business is going to be in the next 2 or 3 years to start with. And how many people are working with you, how many location you have. And second thing, very important as well, is speak with a franchisor, somebody who's used to develop franchise, so that they can already help you from the beginning to structure your own training manual. So, and I see that Sean is also posting a software from EO member, trainual.com, so that needs to be checked out. So that's great. What I would say, Heather, do you need to include video? Absolutely. Now, whether it's a YouTube channel or it's on Vimeo or it's on Loom, whatever it is, but for sure, make sure that you have those videos, and also that quite regularly you can look at those videos to see if they're still accurate. And in your process, making sure that you identify all those videos for the people that are going to be trained. At this stage in the process, you need to watch video XYZ. And you have also a checklist for the person to follow. What is it that they need to watch, and how you're going to verify that they've learned that? So I would say the 2 other things that are very important as well: ask your current employees about their feedback. How did they learn? How did you train them? What was good? What was not good? I'll give you an example. In the SaaS company, which I'm working in right now, we have the HQ in Switzerland. Okay, so we hired people, the first 2 people we hired, we got them trained in Switzerland. And when they come back, they say, listen, that was great, but in terms of availability, people were very busy. So it's better that we actually bring somebody from Switzerland and actually train people locally. If we would not have asked the feedback, we would have never understood that, and the next training would not have been as efficient as it's been. So last but very important thing, I would say test along the way. Training is great, and what you understand, the way you learn might not be the same for other people. So make sure that every step along the way, you have a way of checking that people have understood, they're applying it, and also ask for their feedback. So both are very important. And obviously there's a lot of opportunities with videos, which I love. That's the way I learn, but people are very different. But for you, to make sure that you are really focusing on your business and that the whole training program is being organized by other people, it's very important that you document everything, that you have, excuse me, that you have a process, and that basically when the person is getting trained, they have their menu that they need to follow. That's what I can tell you in a few minutes, Heather, and I hope it's helpful. So moving on to the next question that I have here from Gabor. Gabor Rash, if I pronounce your name well, from Hungary, is asking, what are some quick wins I can implement to increase our bottom line profitability, and how should I go about doing this in the long term? And in terms of background, I think it's very important to precise as well. Throughout the past 2 years, I've been focused on growing our top line revenue. And this year, we're on track to hit $1 million in sales. Congratulations, Gabor, this is great. We've been profitable all the way, but I feel there's probably a lot of waste we could eliminate. Normally, I'm the sales guy, not the saving guy, so I'm not sure how to get started, as well as how to make constant awareness of our bottom line an integral part of how we do business. We currently have a full-time accountant who can get me any reports I need. Great question, Gabor, about the quick win. So, and first thing for me is I'm not sure which business you're in. So I would look at that because the KPIs would be different from one industry to the other. And as you have an accountant, which is absolutely great, what I would do, I would sit down with your accountant and I would understand your numbers. First of all, your sales price. Is it competitive? Can you raise it? Is it in line with the market? What can be done over there? The second thing, obviously, is the cost of good and the service. How much does it cost you to deliver your service, to produce the service you're offering? So you can review the process. You can review as well the vendors. At each moment in the process, who are the people you're working with? What can be done in terms of improving your margin? What are the different vendors you're working with? Are you having the right negotiation with them? What else can you ask more? What is their structure as well? Selecting vendors is obviously very important because if you don't have the right one, that's going to have a huge impact on your results and your bottom line. And then you go back with your accountant, as I was just saying a few seconds ago. Each industry has different KPIs. So what are the meaningful KPIs for your business? And that's something that your accountant will be able to tell you. So focus on those KPIs, make sure that you are monitoring them on a monthly basis. And quite frankly, make sure also you're sharing that with your team. If you're open to be transparent, if it's part of your culture and you can share those KPIs with the people working with you, with your team, they will understand the impact of what they're doing on the bottom line. And you can also incentivize them so that they're aware of the KPI, they're aware of the impact on the bottom line. If they reach a certain level, they can get bonus or other way of incentivizing your team member. But that's really something that you can work on with your accountant, but also with your team. Look at the KPIs of your industry, communicate with the team, and make sure that they understand the impact of what they're doing on your bottom line. Voila, hope it helps. Moving on to the next questions. Preparing this just to make sure that I'm on the right one. So we have Robin Turpin. Robin is asking time management. What time management system or process do you use and why? It's a great question. I can speak for hours on that. In terms of background, she wants to be as productive as she can be. And by the way, Robin, I'm sorry if I don't know if it's male or female. So I would restart the question when you say, I want to be as productive as I can be. And I know there is software and good old-fashioned day planners. Yes, they are. What are you using today to stay efficient and manage your time? So that's a question that we can spend hours talking about. I've always been a freak about time management. I remember being a student, I was the first one to buy at that time what was called TMI. Not too much information, but Time Management International was the brand. And I remember my friends at school making fun of me, and next year everybody's got one. So I'm always looking for ways to improve my time management. So the first thing I would look at is how you spend your time. Before looking at any tools, how are you spending your time? Describe for yourself your ideal week. And obviously use one calendar, whatever it is. I don't know how people are doing when they have 2-3 different calendars, quite frankly. But use one calendar and define your ideal week, and in which you include everything. Your private life, your professional life, everything you're doing by block of time, and block those times. But your ideal week being defined, then you're gonna look at all the list of tasks you're doing. And for each of those tasks, you're gonna look at whether you should do it yourself or you should delegate it. And you can decide on that. I'll give you an example. Driving my kids in the morning at school. Can I delegate that? Sure. Do I want to delegate that? Not really, because when there's no COVID, I'm traveling a lot. So it's my enjoyment as well to drive my kids at school and to come back and pick them. So this is something that I could delegate, but I'm not going to do it. So you look at all the tasks you're doing, and you look at your to-do list, and most importantly, your stop doing list. There's so many things that we want to be doing, especially when we're starting with our own business. If you have the mindset of, is it you should do who should do that, or can you delegate that? That's already saving a lot of time, because you're going to organize yourself differently. So first thing, look at how you spend your time. Define your ideal week. Look at the different tasks you're doing and what can be delegated, and block different times, different hours, block of hours in your calendar. The second thing, to be really productive as you can be. That's great. That's why you say you want to be very productive. It's awesome. The big danger for any entrepreneurs, and trust me, I've been there, is the burnout. So being productive is great. Just make sure you're also thinking about yourself, about your mental health, that you are making sure that you are the person who's going to drive your company, so that you're in a good shape, that your mind is at the right place, and the mindset is very important, obviously, but you are focusing on what's important for you and for your business. So that's something extremely important before you talk about the tools. So when you have your ideal week and you have the time and block of hours to concentrate on yourself, then we can talk about the tool. The tools I'm using the most are Outlook for the calendars, Evernote, where every time I have something that I'm thinking about, I'm preparing a meeting, I'm reading a book, I create a note in Evernote, and I obviously take my notes there. But that's a tool I love. I can have it on my phone. I can have it on my desktop. It's synchronizing all the time. So that's a tool that I'm using every day. The next thing I'm using, it's this. Yes, paper, and it's called a bullet journal. About 4 or 5 years ago, I was not using paper at all. And I was missing something, is the global view. What's going on in my week, what's going on in my month, and what's going on in my year. So I'm using this bullet journal. I have it with me all the time. I'm taking notes. That's something we can discuss another time, but you can Google bullet journal and you will see the principle. It is just amazing. It helps me to do journaling. It helps me to take notes. It helps me to organize myself. It helps me to look at what's coming on in the month, in the week, what are my objectives. And what I do in terms of time management, I look at it every Sunday night for the week, and I look at it every night for the next day. And I'm preparing that in advance. And then what I do, I take my phone and I put alarm for every single meeting I'm going to have the next days, and I put 10 minutes in advance so that I'm not missing that and I'm not late for it. So those are the main tools I'm using, and I'm also using a CRM, which is Active Campaign, but there's so many CRM. Now, in terms of time management, if you think about all the social media that we are exposed, if you think about, and I have to use it because of customers or the way some of them work. I'm on Slack, I'm on WhatsApp, I'm on Signal, I'm on Telegram, I'm on Asana for some, I'm on Monday.com for others, I'm on Basecamp for third one. It's becoming insane. So what I'm trying to do is, first of all, to switch off all the notification of all of this. And based on the time block that I have, that I'm focusing on the project that I'm working on. And then for the rest, I'm trying to get my customer to use the same tools that I want to be using. But there's so many. At the end of the day, Outlook, Evernote, my bullet journal, Active Campaign are the ones that I'm using on a daily basis. And last but certainly not least, and I want to take the example of Clubhouse that, I guess most of us have tried at Clubhouse or are active on Clubhouse. It's fascinating to me how much time can be spent and 3 hours is gone. So if I go on Clubhouse, I go purposely, I look at the time, I make sure I'm doing one session, I'm contributing there, and then I go out. If not, you can spend hours of that. And I guess the most important thing in terms of time management, and trust me, we can discuss that for hours, it's to be mindful of the purpose. Why are you doing what you're doing at that moment? And every time now I'm asking myself, do I have to do it myself? Do I want to do it? And when I'm going to do it in my time blocking. So I guess a lot of information here. I hope it's helpful, Robin. And that's all I have for you today in terms of time management. Moving on now to the next question from Sarah Hamilton. Sarah is asking, how do I build loyalty with my team? Amazing question. And just a little bit more background on the question. I own a female-run and operated barber shop with male clients, and over the years, I've had countless barbers screw me over in all kinds of areas. The way they talk to me, the way they won't follow processes, they've quit on me, and I can't seem to find a solution. This industry is very unique, and I'm looking for any and all ideas to make sure that I'm being the right leader to keep people and grow. How do I know if I am the problem and I'm not doing my job right, or is it just people will be people? Well, that's a very, very good question. And I would say the first thing for me, I really admire you for looking at yourself and challenging yourself, thinking that you're the problem. Now, having done that, because I think it's important that we always look at ourselves first, you have to realize that if you decided to do this business, it's because of your passion. Go back to the why you started in the first place. And don't take the negative people. And I make the difference between positive feedback, even sometimes it hurts, and the negative people. There's a lot of naysayers. There's a lot of people that you shouldn't do that. It's not for you. It's not for women. It's not for whatever. Forget about it. From the moment that this is what you want to be doing, do it. And I always remember the saying of Winston Churchill, who was saying, if you go through hell, keep going. I know it's a little bit hard, but that's really what it is. From the moment that it's your passion, listen, nobody is successful overnight, and I cannot count the number of situations where you suddenly see somebody who's very successful, uh, not overnight. It takes years, years of grit, years of working. So from the moment that it's your passion, just continue with it. Now, what can you do in terms of the team? What can you do in terms of the issue you've had? There's one book that I would like to recommend to you, and it's called The Alter Ego Effect from Todd Herman. And in situation of doubt, that you can call upon your alter ego. This is definitely not rosy comments or whatever. It's working. Todd is an amazing person. He's been coaching the greatest athletes and business people in terms of the mindset. And that's really something that has been helping me as well when in doubt, when people are saying, it's not working or whatever it is. So that's one thing that I'd like to recommend to you to read and to apply and to find your alter ego and who you want to be when you show up in that moment at work. The third thing that I want to share with you is about the values. I don't know if you wrote down the values that you want to have in your business. It's part of the culture. And today more than ever, I'm totally convinced the successful business and this more than anything else will be based on the culture. And the culture comes to the values. It's your business. It's your personality. What do you want to transmit as values? What is important for you? And when you define those, and it's really something that it's a management tool. You're gonna recruit people based on those values, and you're gonna manage people based on those values. And if somebody is not fitting in the values, immediately show the example. Thank you, goodbye, good luck. We're not made to work together. So that's the first thing that I would start with. It's defining the values and making sure you're recruiting with that. Now, in terms of recruitment, there are different tools. I don't know if you're using, there's the predictive index, and I'm going to give you an example of how we're using it, or the culture index, or DISC, or Colby. There's different personality tests. I personally use predictive index in my company. And the process that we follow is the following. We know the profile, the job, we define that. And then the person that, when we have a job opening, we have obviously all the candidates. They have to go to answer the predictive index. It takes 10 minutes per person. It's very quick. And by the way, those who don't want to answer it, well, thank you. Then we're not going to be working with each other. But then it's going to give me the personality test, all the feedback on the person. And there's nothing right or wrong in that test. It's just showing who the person is and will they fit in my culture and in the job description that I've defined. And that's something that I use as well for any business partnership that I'm looking at. So in terms of the recruitment in your barbershop, I would strongly recommend to use a personality test based on your values, based on the job description, and then making sure that you look at the person. If it's not a fit from the beginning, then don't. And then last but not least, to manage with your values. So if one person is not respecting you, game over immediately. That's something I can be patient for a lot of things. If there's no respect, out. That's the first thing that I would tell you. And last but not least, when you have those people that you've recruited, when you share those values, it's really the communication again and again and again. It's not enough to do it once, not enough to do it twice. It's systematic. It's the number of meetings you have with them. You have a quick run every morning. It's how many times then you are bringing everyone together. The example you're sharing, the congratulation, taking an example of the person behaving the right way. That's a long-term effort. But I would say the most important, go back to why you started this business, the passion you have for it, and don't let anybody else discourage you. From the moment that it's your passion, that's what you want to be doing, then obviously the rest is running the business. But it's really, don't doubt yourself. Okay, Sarah, that's what I wanted to share with you. And now we have Michael Wilding or Michael Welding. He's got a ticket company. That's something that I know a little bit about. So Michael's saying, it's not only one question actually, it's many questions. I have a ticket sales website currently in Canada. How can I get things back to normal? I need to be able to communicate with our clients and see how we can help them. Are there programs specific to the event industry that we can take advantage of or help promoters take advantage of to help everyone through COVID? Are there programming changes we need to do to help accommodate this? Well, that's many questions. And the background of your question, Michael, is I have a ticket sales website similar to Ticketmaster's, and with COVID, ticket sales have plummeted. I want to see how I can better serve my client. Well, I love that you want to serve your client well. My first question is, and I don't know from what you're asking here, are you primary or secondary? So are you helping venues to sell tickets or festivals selling tickets, or are you a secondary ticket reseller? In other words, when somebody's got a ticket and wants to resell it and they come to your platform. So that would change a little bit in terms of the outreach. But the first thing I want to share with you, and you know what they say, always start with the bad news. When are things going back to normal? Never. I don't think there is any new normal that we're going to get back to. Forget about the past. It's completely changed. I'm going to give you one example in terms of ticketing. A year ago, people were talking about going to mobile delivery of the ticket so that you have your tickets on your phone. And everybody was saying, yeah, well, it's good, it's coming. And a lot of people say, well, you know, I still want to have my paper ticket. I'm not sure about that. Our customer are a little older. They're not going to go to mobile. And guess what? Today, everybody wants mobile. It's a given. So going back to the past, forget about it. So I would say, first of all, try to understand what the market is going to be and how the market is going to evolve in terms of ticketing. So that's the new normal, if you want, but define what's going to happen. Reach out to your customer. Reach out to your clients. Be present, especially in those difficult times, so that it's not we're there for you. I'm sick and tired of hearing people say, I'm there for you. Yeah, what do you want to sell me? Genuinely reach out to them, see how they're doing, see what are their challenges, see how you can help them. But you cannot force them to reopen if, you know, everything is closed. You cannot put the show together if there's no show right now. So maintaining the relationship, especially in tough time, that's the most important you can do for the future of your business. Then the third thing you're asking is, the third question you're asking is about programs specific to the event industry that you can take advantage of. So I've been 20 years in meetings and events. I've been through several crises in the past. There is no program as such for the meetings and event industry. And quite frankly, that's a shame, because that's the first industry which is touched and the last one to restart, as we're seeing right now. And it affects millions of people directly in terms of job, and indirectly, if you look, the stadium, the theater, the events, the conference, the trade show, everybody's affected with that, and realize how important it is in our life. So in terms of specific program of support, not specifically to the meetings and event industry, I don't know, in Canada, I know there's something similar, but in the US, we have the PPP program and other program as well that are put together by the SBA, the Small Business Administration. So those are the type of program that can help you in a certain way to maintain some employment, to maintain some part of your business. But I guess the most important for your business and your customer is to understand where they are today, when they're planning to reopen, and be there for them in a true and genuine way, to try to share information that you have, to maybe create some session together with some of your customer to reflect on what they're working on, how they're going to reopen, what would be the new measures, the social distancing, the new seating map that they will be using, the new process that they will have, not only in ticketing but in their venue, and really try to brainstorm and put yourself in their shoes, trying to help them with their business. Last but not least, and I know it's not good news what I'm telling you now, but that's the reality of the situation. But the good news is it will come back. I've been traveling recently. It's amazing how many people are already back on the road. They're thinking of reopening. Some venues are thinking already to reopen. Some trade shows are reopening right now. We're looking at, again, having congresses and meetings and events, small size by the end of Q2. We're talking about major trade show that are reopening. For instance, IMEX America in Vegas. It's been postponed to November, but it's gonna take place in November. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel that we're trying to see right now. It will all depend on the speed of the vaccine adoption and what the different authorities will decide. But I can tell you by experience, having been in different crises in the past, it always come back. Face-to-face events are not going away at all. There will be an element of online for sure, but the in-person is irreplaceable. When you think about the serendipity of conversation in a trade show, when you think about the lights going off in the concert hall just before the artist goes on stage, those are feelings that cannot be translated online. So hang in there. And then again, reach out to your customer, be there for them in a genuine way, maintain contact, and it will pay back. That's what I have for you, Michael. The next question that I have here is coming from Liv Gruber. Here we are. What are other methods you suggest reaching out to clients, potential partners, and businesses beside a cold email? Great question, Liv. And background of your question is my business is Cellar Door Plans. It is an online plant store, but we are looking to sell our pre-potted plants to more retailers, boutiques, coffee shops in the Seattle area. I am creating our offering right now, but I wanted some advice on the most effective way for me to reach out to people about. Okay, so what are other methods you suggest reaching out to client, potential partner, businesses besides a cold email? Well, it's a great question, but your question actually, for me, should be subdivided in how you're reaching out to your clients, how you're reaching out to potential partners. So it's a different approach for each. It's also different whether you have services or product, and what you are looking at for referrals. We're looking at to opening doors. You're looking at to test the product that you have. So I would really look at it, first of all, your customer, and second, your potential partners, and then the businesses. The good thing is that you focus on one location, which is Seattle. Big location, but it's one location. So there's also a way of having a more personal contact, especially when it comes to prospection. I don't know for you, I cannot remember the last time I bought something because I've received an email. So it's good for branding. It's good for keeping in touch. It's good for your brand awareness. And it's definitely good to hopefully have a meeting somehow. But personally, I hate cold email, and I'm always trying to have the personal contact. So as I'm looking at your business and you say Cellar Door Plans, I'm not sure that it's a very commoditized business, so you can focus on the personal relationship anyway. So try to see how you can reach out to your potential customers. So I'm talking now, first of all, clients. I would look at your clients and I would just reach out to your current client, those who are happy, those that you can work with the word of mouth. And I don't know how many customer you have. Let's say you have 50 customer. If each of them, recommend you to two other prospects, you're gonna suddenly have 100 people you can talk to. And I don't know about your closing rate, but let's say your closing rate is, let's be pessimistic, 20%, then there's 20 new clients. So you're basically growing that way as well. So look at your different customer base. What do they like from you? Get testimonials. Why do they choose to work with you? Those are very important information, and you can also use the way you're reaching out to other prospects by using the words that your current customer are actually using talking about you. So that's one thing. The other thing is the potential partners. And I just want to give you an example from another life when I was organizing incentive trips all over the world. It was very important for me to have the right local partner. And I'm thinking about India, I'm thinking about Zimbabwe, the first time that I had programs over there. If I don't have the right partner, it's going to be a disaster. How did I select the partner? I went to the trade show, I reached out to them, I asked with the RFP I was sending specific information, see how quickly they were responding, how accurate they were responding. And I asked around people that have been working with them, what do they like about them? Would they recommend them? So those are obviously two different aspects, reaching out to your customer, reaching out to your potential partners. But those are part of the same wheel, if you want, but it's always based on trust and recommending you. So for that, there is one tool that I love using. And I don't know if you're familiar with the business model canvas, Liv, but I strongly would recommend to use it. You can Google it, business model canvas. And it's basically one big page with different boxes with questions in each boxes. So you start, for instance, what is your value proposition? What are the different channels of distribution? What are the different partners? What are the costs? What are revenue? And you basically brainstorm your entire business model in a few hours in front of you in one page. And that will give you definitely ideas on who are the client that you should be reaching out first, what type of new partner that you can think about that you might not have thought about. And that's a great tool that I'm using in my businesses. Now, you're in Seattle, so that's great. You can focus on Seattle itself, but also look if on the map, where are your different customers? And it's always easy to focus on that the localization, I hope it's an English word, where they are, so that you can get additional client that would also help you up actually in the delivery afterwards. And then last but not least, besides your customer base and the word of mouth, I would do a systematic outreach and use a CRM for sure, a customer relationship management for that. If you don't have a CRM, just start with an Excel sheet, but take notes of every contact you're making and the feedback they're giving you. But going back to the most essential part is the outreach. How are you going to do the outreach? Do it systematically. If you think about your business and if you think about being in Seattle, and if you block 1 hour per day, you can reach out at least to four people. 4 people per day, that's 20 people per week, that's 80 people per month. And if you're working on European standard 10 months per year, that's 800 people. So you can reach out to 800 people in Seattle in the next 12 months and have 2 types of pitches. One pitch for somebody that you're meeting that is a potential direct customer, and one pitch for somebody who they're not going to be a potential customer because they don't use that product or that service, but they can recommend you. And then again, take notes systematically, and I can promise you, you will see results. So Liv, that's what I have for you today. And I'm moving now to, what are we doing on time? I think we're good. Okay. And I still have 3 questions. One from Lauren, one from Nancy, and one from Zach. So, question from Lauren. Lauren Saints. Hi, Lauren. What items should I make sure to include in a partnership agreement? Does AO have a template? That I will let Sean answer. And then the background of your question, I'm opening an Etsy store, and my partner and I have verbally agreed on things and are working on a written agreement. Very essential question, Lauren. First thing, consult with a lawyer, especially at the beginning, at least once. Put all your IDs on paper, discuss with your partner, but go and consult your lawyer at the beginning before anything. Now, in terms of exercise, what I would recommend you do with your partner, and the reason I'm saying this is that I've been in many different partnerships. Some have been awesome, and some have been terrible, and some have been okay. And what I would do today, in the next partnership that I would do, I would ask my future business partner to write down his or her expectations, their objectives with the business, an objective in life, and how this business would support their objective in life, and what they believe their responsibilities are. And I will ask that potential partner to do that on their own, and I would do the same. And then we would sit down together to see if we are aligned, and if we're not aligned, where can we discuss if there's any big issue or not. Better to know it from the beginning. But really, doing this alignment exercise will also help afterwards to define the legal agreement and to go to the lawyer. So that's the first thing I would do. Then what I would do is asking what should be in the partnership agreement is that, what if you sell? What if you want to sell? Or what if your partner wants to sell? There's this clause called tag along. So if one of you is willing to sell or has a buyer, then the other can sell at the same price. And it's also a way of protecting if you're not the majority owner, or if you have a minority owner. The classical thing that I would not do, and I've done it in the past, is going 50-50. It's always better to have 51-49, define a process, whatever it is. But that's something to discuss as well with your partner. So define what is going to happen if you can sell, or if one of you wants to sell. And there's also an opportunity, for instance, if your business partner comes and says, I have somebody who wants to buy, or I want to buy you at a certain price, then they have to be ready actually that you buy them at the same price, so that they're giving you a fair price. So first of all, what are you going to do if you sell? Then what are you going to do? Sorry to think about it, but what are you going to do if one of you dies? Is it the who's getting the shares? Is it the spouse? Is it the company? Is it you? Who's going to evaluate the company? So what happens if one of you dies? What happens if you start fighting with each other and you don't want to work with each other anymore? And sometimes it can create terrible situation where people are actually, their ego is taking over and they don't even care about the business anymore. They just hate the other person so much that anything's possible. So if you can define that, not if, you must define that before going into your partnership. And I just want to end with give you an example of something that I had in one of my previous partnership. After 2 years, we sit down, and every year we had a review for the next year. And after 2 years, I sit down with my business partner. I said, listen, there's 2 options. or we remain friends, but then we should not be working with each other, or one of us is buying the other. But this is not working for me. And I gave the reasons and facts based why it was not working. And quite frankly, we were in two different situation in life and had two totally different expectations and objectives. It ended very well. We're still friends, but we're not working with each other. And the good thing that it was defined at the beginning, and also we were not afraid to have the tough conversation. So I hope it helps, Lauren, and keep us posted with your partnership. Moving on now to Nancy. Nancy Lopez is asking, should I keep my 6-month emergency fund completely, or should I use some of it to invest in starting my business? And the business background is I have no debts. Congratulations. Recently completed my 6 months emergency fund. Congratulations. That's awesome, Nancy. I have 2,000 spare to invest in kicking off my jewelry business, for which I need to do so much. I can probably bootstrap, but not sure if I will quickly need more and therefore will need to use the emergency fund. Awesome question, Nancy. First of all, and again, congratulations, because especially this year, having a 6 months emergency fund built, that's absolutely awesome. So the way you're describing it, and again, it's your personal relationship to risk. But I would say keep it to sleep well. That's the first reaction. Because if you believe that you need to have a 6 months emergency fund, which is great, absolutely. And if you manage to do it in such a difficult time, that's absolutely awesome. And I would definitely keep it because, first of all, you never know what's going to happen in the future, but it also means that it means a lot to you. So that would be my first reaction. But then I would go back to, what is your business plan? How do you see your business in the next 3 years? What are the needs in cash you're going to have? And again, going back to how much does it cost you to produce? What do you want to be investing? What are your sales, your margin, and everything? So when you've defined this business plan for the next 3 years, you can look at the cash you need. And there's different ways you can finance. First of all, you can self-finance, and you know you're going to grow at a certain rate, and you might be very happy with it or not. That's really, again, a personal choice. If you decide that you need more for financing, then you're a different way. In the US, there's the SBA, Small Business Administration. It's worth looking at it. I believe until 30th of September of this year, if you look with them to have a loan, and if they give you a loan, then you have, I think, 3 months that they're waiving capital interest and also the initiation fee. So that's some good savings. But most importantly, if you put 10, I think they would, under $1 million, they would land up to 90%. So you need to put 10% down. Very interesting. So that's one way of looking at it. The second thing, if you need to bootstrap and say, okay, here I see if I invest more in my online marketing, I'm going to have greater results. Every time I invest $1, I'm getting 1.5, for instance. Then you have two options in financing besides and before touching your emergency fund. The first one is debt. Ask some investors that are willing to finance you and how much you're ready to offer in terms of debt. So in other words, they are lending you a certain amount of money, you're giving some interest every year, and after a defined number of years, you're paying back the capital, and or equity. In other words, giving them shares. And that's something that, it's a personal choice. I'm not going to comment more than that, but that has different implication. But my point is, if you have created this emergency fund, awesome, that works for you. And in terms of financing, look at your business plan, what you want to be doing, how you see your business, what are the needs you would have, and how much you would be willing or to pay or to give in terms of shares at what value. And that's something you can define afterwards with your accountant or financial advisor. Voila. Again, congratulations, Nancy. And last question for today is coming from Zach Knock. Zach is asking, how do you start a training program for employees? What are the bare bones structure needed for a successful program? And the background is that his company, Diamond State Technologies, specializes in working with access control, cameras, automation, and security systems for both residential and commercial applications. The reason why I'm asking this question is I'm growing rapidly and I need guidance on how to build a 6-month training program for my technicians. So, first of all, congrats, Zach. Not only great question, but working fast now, it's great. I don't know where your business is located. I'm in South Florida, and I can definitely see the need for residential and commercial security soon with all the numbers of new development and people moving here. But anyway, first of all, in terms of, again, your question, how do you start a training program for employees and what are the bare bones structure needed for a successful program? I'm going back to the business, and I know you're into it. Oh my God, we're growing so fast in the 6 months. It's urgent to wait and sit down and define how you see your business, why you start the business, what are your objectives for the business in the next 3 years and then in the next 6 months. And then you look at why you're doing this training program. In other words, what are the essentials? What are the goals of this training program? What do you want to be achieving? Not spending so much time yourself in the training people, having other people training them, making sure that obviously your image is there. So different points that I want to elaborate on now. First of all, I love the train the trainers approach. Obviously, when you start the business, you're the first one, then you need to train the people yourself. If you can, as soon as possible, identify somebody who's going to train the new people, and put that system in place, that's going to save you a lot of time. And that is the approach that I always prefer, is the train the trainer program. Now, in the previous question in this session today, we spoke about videos and manuals. So from the moment that you have that content that you're creating, think about your business in 3 years and what you're creating today. It's something that you can still use in 3 years. So from that on, and define the content, what people should be learning, and you have your entire content program based on your business and based on the needs that are coming up in the 6 months. The second thing, which is very important and what's essential of a training program, is making sure that people are taking responsibilities, that they own it. As we all know, the most important people in the company, and especially in your company, in security, as many other companies, the most important people are those who are directly in touch with the customer. There's a fabulous book written decades ago by Jan Carlson, who was the head of SAS Airlines company. It's called Moments of Truth. And he was saying that the most important person in a company is not him, the CEO. It's the person at the check-in desk. This is the person who's giving the image of the company. This is the person who's really carrying the brand of the company. So in your case, your technicians are your brand. Your technicians are the people that are giving the image of your brand, that are in touch directly with the customers. And that's something essential for your success and for growing the company. So there is a technical element to it, and there's also a branding and marketing element to it, which is extremely important for them to understand, because that is going to have a big impact on your success as well. So the fact that you are empowering them to have those moments of truth, to be in front of the customer, it's extremely important, but they need to understand that before anything else. So have the video, have the checklist, and most importantly, verify. Go on a visit with them, ask customer their feedback, make sure that you also have feedback from your technician, and they feel that they can be honest with you, that they can share with you what they believe went well, what could be improved, where they were a little at ease for whatever reason. But the bottom line is that they feel that with you and in your company, it's okay to be honest and to give feedback, because that's going to help you a lot. And last but definitely not least, as you are in security, and then we're talking about training your technician, there is a fabulous book written by Ron Lovett, who used to own a security company in Canada and made it a tremendous success. And it's called Outrageous Empowerment from Ron Lovett. Strongly recommend you read that book as well. Voila, as we said in French. This was the first session. I hope it was helpful. If you have any question, obviously, please reach out to me or to Sean, and we're definitely here to help, and looking forward to witnessing all your successes in your business. Thank you, and have a great day.